Tonight on The Roast, the Liberal Party responds to Labor's budget and Australia changes its migration zone to not include Australia. That's all coming up.
Sorry, Tom. Hi. You've forgotten about the Eurovision Song Contest.
No, I haven't. We're not doing Eurovision, Mark. You'll be talking about the budget.
Oh, will I, Tom? Will I?
Yes, he will. Well, last night, Tony Abbott delivered his official opposition response to the Gillard government's 2013 budget, announcing a platform of, what she said.
Tony Abbott, I agree, but with me. Canberra.
In fact, the opposition's budget was so similar to Labor's, it raised speculation Tony Abbott might just have spent his 48-hour response time preparing Australia's biggest example of political find all and replace. But considering he only had 48 hours to come up with a budget for the entire country, I think Mr Abbott did okay. And I'm not the only one.
His mum liked it.
Very proud.
Do you think he'll be at the next Prime Minister?
Oh, well, just no comment.
Sounds like Tony's mum went to the Glasson School of Parenting. You build them up and you knock them down. You tell them you love them and you move to Thailand with your secret family. Textbook stuff.
You know what'll take your mind off your broken family, Tom? Eurovision.
No, Mark, we're not doing this.
Sorry, Tom, I can't hear you over this graphic. I thought that'd be more impressive. Well, this weekend, Sweden plays host to the 2013 Eurovision Song Contest, where contestants from 39 European countries will sing in an event that is set to be flamboyant, baffling, and mentally scarring. Sadly, Australia cannot compete, even though we're no less European than Israel, so you'll have to settle for watching the contest on our rival broadcaster, SBS. And tonight, SBS will be screening semi-final 1, which features contestants such as Lithuania's Andreas Pajavis, who is more eyebrow than man, Denmark's Emily de Forest, who has a decent chance if she can get up off the floor, and Moldova's Aliona Moon, who is, oh my God, she's a witch! And that's it for semi-final 1. I'll be back with more later.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
Stop saying that. Back to our first story. If the coalition's allowed to respond to the budget and deliver its version despite not being in government, what about those other parties who are also not in government? Why don't they get a budget reply? I mean, I'm sorry, I thought we lived in a democracy. So for the reaction for those other parties, let's first cross to Genevieve Fricker, who joins us from the Australian Sex Party. Jen, what's the Sex Party's budget reply?
Well, plenty of talk around here, Tom, mostly dirty. The party agrees with most things in the budget, except they take the $7.6 million set aside for safety features, including a skylight in Parliament, and use it to install mirrors on the roof and slippery when wet signs. Safety first, Tom.
OK, is that it?
Hush, Darcy.
Moving on. Rachel Corbett, what are they saying over at the no parking meter party?
Oh, can we hurry this along? I've got to feed this machine.
Of course. How has the party replied to the budget?
Well, they agree with everything in there. They just say no parking meters.
All right. And their budget for healthcare?
Well, no parking meters.
And the arts?
No fancy parking meters.
What about defence?
Does the army want to install parking meters?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess they'll give them some money.
OK. And finally, Clark Richards. Clark, where are you?
I'm at home, Tom. This is my budget reply for my party.
All right, then we'll leave that there.
Why? I'm as much not the Prime Minister as Tony Abbott is. Why does he get a budget reply and I don't?
Because he's the leader of the opposition party.
$6.50 for a pack of 1,000 plastic cups.
No.
Funding for a committee to select and approve a delicious cake.
Clark, no.
All right, cut the cake funding. $250 for the DJ. And finally, stricter border control.
Oh, is that an asylum seeker policy?
No, security guards, Tom. Gate crashes are a real problem these days.
Yeah, I'm beginning to understand why we don't get everyone's response. How many more of these fringe parties have we got? Oh, yeah, that is going to take way too long. You know, let's just keep it to these two almost identical parties who complain about each other's almost identical policies. And turning to our second story, yesterday the identical party who's in power now passed a controversial new law.
Not so fast, Tom. Throw down the new graphic. Yeah, that's a bit better. It's time to look at the contestants from Eurovision semi-final 2. Check out Israel's entrant, Moran Mazor. There may not be peace in the Middle East, but I can confirm there is cleavage. And then, Cop Romania's entrant, Cesar. He's quite the David Copperfield. Watch as he makes his testicles disappear. Magic.
Mark, please stop. You are ruining television.
No, I'm not.
Well, getting back on track, the federal government yesterday passed a controversial new law in yet another attempt to stop asylum seekers. Because if there's one thing I've always said, it's that asylum seekers have too many rights. So what does this new law do?
Australia's entire mainland has been excised from Australia's migration zone.
It makes Australia disappear. Well, legally anyway. Obviously, Australia still exists. It's just under migration law that things have changed. You see, previously...
Till now, asylum seekers who reached the mainland by boat could not be sent to Nauru or Manus Island for immigration processing.
Which was kind of like getting a prize for getting past our border patrol, sort of like a game of 44 home. Only now it's more like hide and seek, in that Australia is hiding from seekers of asylum, and even if they do find us, they still don't win. In fact, now only asylum seekers who arrive by plane have a legal advantage. So if you're planning on seeking asylum in Australia by sea, go with the guy who pilots the boating 747. Sure, it might not fly, but then again, that boat could barely float. For more on the change to the migration zone, we'll cross now to our immigration expert, Nick Richardson. Nick, is Labor correct in saying this new law is going to help deter people smuggling?
Oh, it's hard to see it working, Tom. It might be a harsh law, but until Australia becomes a worse place to live than an asylum seeker's country, they're still going to want to move here.
So what's the solution?
Well, we begin with a coup d'etat, led by me, Nick Richardson.
My God.
Yep, that's what my enslaved people will call me when I overthrow the Australian government to create Nicktopia. Firstly, I will make it legal to hunt people for sport, then I'll set fire to all the crops, kill all the animals and pollute all the water supplies, making it so terrible that no one will ever want to come here again. Immigration problem solved.
No, Nick, that sounds awful.
It does, doesn't it? Pretty brilliant is what the papers will write, because I will own them.
Okay, but what about the rest of us? We'll be starving and poverty-stricken and fearing for our lives every day.
Then you just take your boating 747 and go find somewhere else to live. And you know what they'll say? Asylum seeker problem
Created?
For other countries, yes, but for Nicktopia's asylum seeker problem, solved.
Well, to hear how the sane portion of the world's responding to Labor's new migration zone policy, we'll cross to our British correspondent, Jazz Twemlow.
It is ridiculous
I know.
that you thought of this first.
What?
You think you're the only country that doesn't want illegal immigrants? In January, a poll was done in Britain that found immigration is regarded by the public as the biggest issue facing British society. But what could we do? Who knew the answer was right in front of our eyes, and the trick was just to pretend it wasn't? Look at this.
All right, what's that?
It's you, or more accurately, where you used to be. Now you're just a shining beacon of hope to countries who don't like to give hope to other people. We used to think there were problems that were too big to solve, but now you've taught us we don't actually have to solve them. The gay community wants marriage rights? Bam! Marriage doesn't exist.
What, but then none of us could get married.
Oh, no, it would exist, just not to gay people.
Okay, but that's what it is now.
I know, and we're so proud of you, little Britain Junior. The apprentice has become the master.
Okay, thanks, Jazz. And that's all the time we have for tonight. Oh, really? This better not be Mark.
Hello, Tom, it's Sweden calling.
Oh, crap.
Brace yourself for my grand final preview. New graphic. That's what I'm talking about. As the winner of last year's competition, Sweden automatically qualifies for the grand final. So they've sent young Robin Stjernberg. And that chubby Bieber should do very well, as long as he doesn't creep out the voters with his sex smile. But will he win? Find out on Monday's Eurovision recap. I'll see you then.
No, you won't. He won't. Good night.